time at the Rubas, a weekly podcast where we're actually at Okee right now, so it's going to be about Okee.
Yeah, it's going to be a little weird.
And I have no voice.
You're Brooklyn.
I'm Brooklyn.
There's Mitchell.
I'm Mitchell.
I'm Daniel, and there's...
Richard.
Richard's here.
Ricardio.
Not Richard the cat, Ricardio the human from Tennessee. He's here also. How you feeling over there, my man?
I'm feeling pretty great.
Pretty great.
It's been great.
Mitchell, what have you been doing today?
I have been lounging around like a good cat, but honestly, also in today, at around 4 a.m., I sold popsicles at Incendia
Yeah?
to obviously hot people.
Hot, like from the flames.
Yeah, all they asked for was water, and I was like, I mean, there's
They're probably pretty attractive, too.
There's water in the popsicles. And I had Slutty Ruxpin with me.
Wait, you're going to have to explain this concept to people that don't know that one.
I don't think anybody knows Slutty Ruxpin, but that's fine. So, your childhood memory unlocked for some of you. Teddy Ruxpin was a teddy bear that you could put tapes in and he would read you stories.
Yes.
Well, I won one at Frick Frack last night, who is a gender bender slutty version called Slutty Ruxpin. So, Slutty Ruxpin and me sold popsicles last night at around 4 to 5.
I like how you put little figures and things on the freezer to lure in the wooks for the popsicles.
Oh, yes. There's the shiny.
This is shiny. Oh, yeah. We were warned about somebody in our camp looking for something shiny last night.
Oh, yeah, the magpies, they thieve.
Brooklyn,
Hello.
tell me about this Okee. Have you had a good time? What's been your favorite things?
The sound bath this morning with LS Dream was really, really good.
Tell everybody about that.
So I don't care if you don't like EDM or not, or whatever. Go to this if LS Dream's gonna be at a festival that you go to.
He was going to do that at one of the canceled lineups, I think.
Yeah. It's trust me, I'm not gonna tell you anything about it.
Well, I'll tell you something. I told Brooklyn after it happened, I was just spiritually yeeted.
Yes, you were.
Richard, come
He
here.
woke up crying. It was so good.
I did, kind of. Richard, what's been some of your favorite shows?
Man, probably Grizz and Big Boy.
Big Boy. Yeah, that was a fun night last night, dude.
You were throwing it down at Big Boy.
Last night we had, Grizz, Big
Both
Boy, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Local Natives before all that on the other stage.
That was so good.
Yeah. Local Natives, goodness, they got the best vocals in the business. That is crazy, man.
And Flipturn.
Richard, this has been your first one. What do you think about it?
I really like the layout. I like the frick frack gambling. Gambling for random things. That is excellent.
Thanks.
The humidity's a little rough, but
It's Florida, you know.
it's nice and flat.
It's nice.
It's nice and flat.
This is God's waiting room, y'all. Don't go to Florida unless there's a music festival.
Why-
Or Disney.
Why do you think that Gator from Gators Daily is so flat? Flat fuck Friday?
Are there gators here? There's a big pond.
I am just now aware of Flat Fuck Friday, and I have a lot of homework to do.
You have a lot of
Yes,
questions.
you do.
Oh man,
If I have questions, that means I have to do my own homework, y'all. Knowledge is not anyone's burden but your own.
Oh my gosh. Brooklyn, wait. Can you get audio of you slapping the bag right now, please?
Yeah.
Slap it. Here. Oh. Okay.
We're gonna do a beer tasting.
We're gonna be all right. I think we're gonna pass it to future Daniel and Brooklyn, who will talk more about our favorite sets and stuff. Unless anybody else got something to say, Mitchell, give us some wisdom, please. Yes.
You are alone in life, but you do not have to be alone in that. You must build your own temple, but you feel free to worship and visit anyone else's.
I like that. You know, actually,
Slap cheeks.
before we pass it, Dave, we were recording the podcast. How are you been doing? We've been chilling in the monkey bar the past 4 days.
Yeah, I've been doing really good. This is my first Okee ever.
Yeah? What have you thought? What's your honest opinion?
I really enjoyed this. I mean, just the vibe here. Everybody's just very chill. Everybody's just having a great time. Everyone's just ready to get out and just listen to some music and be out in the warm weather and escape from reality for a little while. So,
How does it compare to Rue for you?
there's a lot of similarities in there, but it seems to have a little more of a vibe going than even at Rue.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be saying that because I've been to Rue like forever.
Yeah.
The last 12 in a row. So that's what I'm basing it off of. But no, definitely got a little more of a vibe than at Rue, and that's saying a lot actually.
It's almost kind of halfway between like a big, giant festival like Bonnaroo and a smaller regional It's like medium size, so it's got kind of the Florida vibe. And chill, you know.
No, absolutely. There's always like a certain percentage of people who come in from the immediate metropolitan area for the festival, and then it kind of just spreads out from there.
I would say from people we've talked to, it's probably like half Floridians.
Yeah, I would say that's about right. Although I've met people here from as far away as Maine, Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just
We've got
all
Zach
over
and
the
Sage
place.
back here bringing it in from Boston.
Yeah.
We talked to him. He's over at Freak Frack right now.
And yeah, there you go.
We're about to go gamble something right now, right? Oh, wait. We're doing a tasting. What do you got for us here, Dave?
This is a Founders All Day Vacay Session Wheat Ale.
I think Charlotte got me on this one time, if I remember right. And we just had a sample of what may be one of the last of its kind, one of the last, what was it, Galactic Space Rave with the bus
this is
on
from
it.
Pontoon Brewing. They did a Camp Redderoo and Rubus collaboration and produced Berliner style Weiss with apple, kiwi, white grape, honeydew, lactose, and vanilla.
I remember earlier I was talking with Kevin and Carrie about that, and I was like, I really don't have a preference. I just like sours. And picked a good one. Yes, Mitchell. Tell me about
Last thing
it.
I will say about Okeechobee is it really does give me heavy Kmart
drink.
parking lot carnival vibes.
Oh my God.
As a vendor who did not know he was going to be working here until Tuesday, because that's when they sent us the first email in response. Woo.
You're not wrong. It's a great experience, but you can tell like this is kind of sort of thrown together.
Bolted together and sewn at the edges.
Ratchet, but we thriving.
I kind of enjoy it for being a little ratchet.
Right? No, I 4.5 stars.
Oh, out of 5.
I didn't say that.
You didn't. What?
Out of 5. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, when you got to fix something and all you have is bubble gum and Band-Aids, that's what...
Oh man.
If it
All right.
sticks, it sticks.
Brooklyn, I'm going to pass it to future me and you. Everybody say happy Okee.
Happy okay.
We have flash forwarded in time for a moment.
Holy tits.
We're at Frick Frack. What are you gambling?
I'm gambling 20 real, Brazilian real, and a tide to go pin.
Do you think that will come in handy for the Frick Frack looks?
I really hope so.
Yeah. Mitchell is currently gambling his mustache for some really good art. She's, oh no. Okay, we'll see you in the future some more.
Brooklyn, I just was almost destroyed and died at the turnstile pit.
How do you feel?
Bruised, but amazing.
I'm really glad you got that experience.
Where are we at right now?
We're at the pyramid next to Okeechobee.
There's people dancing on it. This is very
There's
Burning
people
Man.
on top of it.
Do you wanna go up there?
pouring wine
That's
down
awesome.
people's throats.
Do you still have your bag?
Yeah,
You want to go up there?
right here. Fuck yeah.
Right here, right now. Let's go. We'll put it on the show. Let's go.
Hey guys, it's Daniel and Charlotte coming in from the future.
Yeah, so I've been home for a few days. I decided to go ahead and publish this the Monday following Okeechobee. Charlotte,
Yo,
did you have a good time while we were gone?
I had a great time. I installed 2 new bathroom faucets.
She did. I came home and Charlotte had done the whole bathroom thing in there by herself. You're such a badass, Charlotte.
I know, right?
Yeah. Oh.
I'm just playing.
No, I actually love how unmodest you are in this situation. You are a badass.
No. It was super easy.
Yeah. So we're jumping in here to thank our Patreons. Charlotte, do you want to hook us up?
I absolutely do.
All right. Why don't you list them off for us?
Okay, I'm only going to say the first names because I don't want to mess anything up. All
Okay.
right. We've got Ernst, Jordan, Bill, Harris, Brian, Keith, Casey, Chloe Rose, Andrew, Dave, Amanda, Aaron, Nick, Maddie, Sean, McFerg, Andrew, John, Ross, Kent, Michael, Randy, Joshua, Madison, Scott, Greg, Eric and Ben, Beyond the Hypnotic.
That's Jace. That is Jace.
Evan, Jay, Chloe, and Sean.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. You know exactly what I'm going to tell you. 80% is going to go to the Bonnaroo Works Fund. We're going to have a lot for them this year. And we're also going to have a chunk of change for the party because the remaining 20% is going to go to that. And it's going to be a fun one. I don't know if y'all noticed, but we put the sketch of what we got planned on Twitter and Instagram the other day. We have run that by Bonnaroo, and they were like, hey, that looks good. We'll help you. Some of the times may change on that sketch that we put out. Go take a look. We got a lot of fun stuff. So Charlotte's doing trivia. I'm going to be working with some others on the speed dating. We've got Mitchel doing his late night show again. We're going to do the B2B EDM night again. Whole bunch of good stuff. We'll talk about more of that on a future episode, but go take a look on our Twitter timeline. We put out a little text that
B2B.
Yeah, butt to butt to butt. Go take a look. We'll talk about more of that in the future. We're about to jump back into mine and Brooklyn's Okeechobee episode. I did want to give you a heads up in the bit that you're about to hear. We got a little worked up. We tried to stay very, very positive and enthusiastic on this podcast, but this was about a third of the way home, and I was driving, and Brooklyn was looking at some of the conversation on Reddit and on Twitter about Okeechobee, about what you probably heard. So the discussion that we're about to have is kind of when we had that sink in and realized all the details of what happened at Okeechobee. And we get protective of our festival family around here. And we got a little worked up for that reason. So we do turn more positive after about 5 or 10 minutes into that conversation. But just bear with us because we had just kind of found out what had happened. And like I said, we love our festival family, and we got a little protective about it. So I just want to give you a heads up on that. It's not too crazy. It's just going to be a little bit of a change from what you had already heard. We did a live podcast where we talked about this a little bit. Did you have any opinions to share on that whole Okee situation, Charlotte?
No, is this a trigger warning?
No, not necessarily. I just wanted to give them a heads up that there's going to be kind of a shift in tone for about 5 or 10 minutes. So yeah, if you haven't heard about what happened at Okee, I suppose, yeah, maybe it is a bit of a trigger warning, just talking about the loss of life that was experienced there. We've been thinking about that person. Their name was Stevie, and their family and everything. And I understand that there is a GoFundMe out for them if you want to track that down. But just giving you a heads up, we do talk about that. And we got a little worked up about that situation in a very protective and loving way. But I think you'll understand once you hear about it. But again, promises, we do turn much more positive after we get that discussion out of the way. Just want to give you a heads up on that. Charlotte, yes. While we're talking from the future, we'll give everyone a heads up that we will have our friend Ada over next week, I believe, and we'll have an episode with her next week.
Yes, absolutely.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, she's fun. She's really funny. I can't wait to hang out with her. We're going to take her to the Voodoo Lounge. That's kind of my plan.
Ooh.
Yeah. But anyway, we will send you back to the past with mine and Brooklyn's conversation on the road trip home. Me and Brooklyn are on the way back. We're currently almost at the Florida-Georgia line. We actually just passed where Halloween is, over in Live Oak, Florida. I am dying to get over there one of these days. So many people have said so many good things about it. Our friend Zoo that we hung out with last night is trying to talk us into getting a cabin over there at some point. Maybe next year. I do intend on getting over there one of these days. I have heard about the lovable chaos at Halloween, and I want to experience it for myself. All right, but we are on the way back from Okee, and we want to talk about the overall experience. Brooklyn's here with me. I think overall, for our group, we had a fantastic time. This was a great Okee, right? I had a great time with the big crew that we had.
We were so truly blessed to have so many good friends.
Yeah, we had like
so many good people in our group.
We had 15 or 20 people in our camp, and I had the time of my life hanging out with everybody, having deep talks, getting silly at shows, just going in a direction and see what would happen. Yeah. So, I mean, there's too many people to shout out by name, but y'all know who you are. We love you to death. We had the time of our life. I can't wait to do that kind of thing again at Camp Rubus here in 3 months. But Brooklyn, how did you feel about this Okee? How did it compare to last year?
Well, right now, I want to discuss a very serious matter.
Yeah.
And it is the toxic wildfire.
Wildfire.
We'll edit that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say it again.
It is the toxic wildfire that is being spread of like all just rumors about serious stuff.
Yeah.
That
rumors, disinformation.
Okay. So, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna call y'all the fuck out.
Okay.
Twitter is pissing me the fuck off right now.
Tell me about it. What do you mean?
Talking about horrible incidents that had occurred at Okeechobee.
So let's talk about
And it's
that.
people who weren't even there spreading misinformation about details that they don't know. We know.
Yeah.
We know some of the details.
So in the clips that you heard already, we wouldn't have addressed this because we didn't know all of the information. We had heard some rumors, but we hadn't had anything confirmed. We had heard people in our camp talk about this, but I didn't want to talk about it on the podcast because I didn't want to interrupt a good time when we were there. But it is confirmed that one person did pass at Okee this year.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, we're thinking about the friends
Stevie.
and family of that person. His name is Stevie. I think there is even a GoFundMe set up for him and his family.
We'll put it in our bio.
Yeah, we'll put that out. So, I mean, I do want to acknowledge that, people have passed at other festivals before, and they have at Bonnaroo. I think it was about 3 years ago, somebody, got in a bad state of mind and walked out to the interstate. These things do happen. This one was problematic at Okee for a handful of reasons.
I'm just really, really disappointed in not only Okeechobee, Insomniac, but in our community itself.
Yeah.
This death could have been prevented in more than 30 ways. It hurts my heart. And then there's people on Twitter. There's always going to be toxic trolls on Twitter, but it's so insensitive to just, you're talking about somebody's life. Have some fucking decency. Don't say anything about it if you don't know. Just pay your respects.
Yeah.
Be respectful. Don't spread lies about something that you don't know. Okay? It's so disrespectful. And don't assume that this person was strung out. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't.
We don't know that.
We don't know that. He had to pay with his life, and that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just want to say, we're the plur community. Like, we're supposed to be respectful and positive, and this is just how everyone is acting is disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Okeechobee, shame on you for not making a statement. I really hope by the time we publish this, there is a statement and you pay your fucking respects. But you should be goddamn ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
Y'all are my favorite festival, and it really hurts. It really hurts because I have the best time at Okeechobee, and overall security, there needs to be I didn't feel safe this year.
Security
I still had
existed.
a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time, and I wouldn't change anything about my personal experience. But there's a lot of things that just really hurt my feelings about the things that occurred this weekend and the rumors that are being spread. Because now that this has happened, people are going to demonize Okeechobee Music Festival. And it hurts to see something that I love so much go down the toilet.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, Brooklyn. I'm glad you can speak your mind on that. I've had kind of the same feeling. I felt the same way last year, that I see so much potential in Okeechobee, but I see them not really realizing their potential. There are a lot of things that they could do that wouldn't take much effort or expense that would really make it a top-tier music festival that could compete with Bonnaroo and Coachella as, giant camping festivals. But you mentioned the security. So I have joked in the past, Okee is kind of fun because security is lax and things kind of happen there because of that. In some instances, that's cool. Okay, you're going to slip a drink in. That's not really going to hurt anybody. You don't have to worry about, standing in line for forever while they unnecessarily dig through everybody's bags. That does work better. But there's still a line. Like, you want to feel safe. You don't want security to be so non-existent that you worry if somebody crazy is bringing in a weapon or something.
Exactly. I mean, it's
a little frustrating because I think the venue is fantastic. They have room for tons of campers. They have like a lot of extra features, like even that you don't see at Bonnaroo. But there are things that honestly they're just half-assing and cutting corners on, and they're not even that big of a deal. If they could really put in the more time and effort and thought, they could really be competing. But in the 2 years that we have been now, I just see them almost not caring that they aren't doing things to their full potential.
They're gonna fuck up, and they're not gonna exist anymore.
We spoke about rumors, but there have been some rumors and talk that this could potentially be the last Okeechobee. We don't know that. A lot of people had seen that they were trying to sell some of the property that Okeechobee takes place on. That may not necessarily mean that it's the last Okee. Maybe they're just selling some of the property that they haven't used. We just don't know. It is interesting that in their social media posts, there was no line that said, see you next year or see you in 2024 or something like that. That doesn't necessarily mean anything either. Maybe the social media
that
person
didn't exist last year.
Yeah.
But I think if they wanted to get better, like, we will see like the progress, and like if they actually take action and listen to this feedback, what they need to do. Like, I mean, that's what kind of pond was that?
They call it a retention pond. That's something that's more specific to Florida.
So honestly, you really shouldn't be swimming in that kind of water. There's a lot of bacteria, but I mean, it won't hurt to stick your feet in.
Yeah, we did that.
But they advertise it as, hey, yeah, jump in, get in, and like, all of this.
It's kind of grimy and black.
It's so gross. But I mean, it's nice to like stick your feet in, whatever. But the fact that they don't have any lifeguards is a serious problem. It's an issue that needs to be discussed. If they're gonna open that, like I've seen a lot of people say they need to have lifeguards, and that's very true. I'm surprised that they're not required to have lifeguards. Hopefully next year they will be required due to this incident. Or they just need to rope it the fuck off.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's hot, but I mean, at least rope it off at night. Like, I don't know.
We were discussing this earlier, and I went to Hangout Festival years ago, and a lot of people were frustrated that there's a gate and they only allow so many people in at a time to actually go in to the ocean off of the beach that Hangout is held at. But that's for good reason. They do have a lifeguard there. They do keep an eye on people that are like wading into the waves over at Hangout. There is nothing like that at Okeechobee. There's something that says like, oh, you swim at your own risk, but come on, that's just a way to CYA and, keep an eye on liability issues. That's not good enough. It's really not. Maybe this is something that they will discuss now, but really it's sad that it wasn't discussed already in a way that would have prevented this. In an instance where somebody got kind of messed up and walked out into the interstate at Bonnaroo, that's still extremely sad, but it didn't happen on the grounds. That's not something that they could have necessarily, prevented. Like, you can't, like when you leave the Bonnaroo grounds, you could in theory jump that gate over there out into I-24. They watch the gate. They know who comes in and out and everything. This thing that happened at Okeechobee is something that happened in the middle of the festival grounds in a place that should have been watched. A place where safety should have been a priority at. And it's sad that it took this for them to potentially take a closer look at that.
Basically do better. Yeah. All of us. We all need to do better.
Yeah, and that's Brooklyn, you have a good point. That's something that we have to talk about as a community too.
Yes.
That's one great thing I can say about the community that was at Okee, and I do want to turn to more positive things in a moment. I experienced so many people watching out for one another. When I was on the rail for Yachty in Odessa, which I want to talk about that show here in a little bit, so many people knew that we were kind of, you know, when you ride the rail, especially for a situation like that where there is no pit like there are for the big stages at Bonnaroo, you're there all day. You can get pushed in. It can get pretty uncomfortable at times because you got people crowding in for other shows. But so many people checked on me and our friend Liz that we met. Shout out to her.
Yeah, Liz.
And many others saying like, hey, no, you guys can't get out. Do you need a snack? Do you need water? Are you able to get around? You're not being smushed or anything? So many people checked on us, and that was wonderful. When I was out in the crowd, people were like trading gifts, saying hi, you know, giving out hugs. That was wonderful. You mentioned something to me earlier. Do you want to tell about that?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, we had an incredible positive experience, and I didn't start experiencing negativity until after the festival, and I got on the Reddit, and people were saying like this crowd was horrible and blah blah blah, talking about the couches like close to the sound booth, which is kind of messed up in my opinion. Put your couches in the back.
Yeah, that's a minor problem compared to the other ones.
I mean, I never ran into any rude people, but you know, my experiences are not their experiences. But yeah, like, just, it was such a great Okeechobee, and it feels weird, like, expressing how much of a wonderful time we had, and like everybody else on the internet is like saying how horrible it was.
Yeah, that was one reason I posted online. I said like, hey, I want to wait a day or two before we say anything else about Okeechobee, because I wanted to have time to process, you know, the passing and some of the controversy that came up about it. I didn't feel comfortable celebrating it just yet, which I do want to, because I did have a fantastic time with amazing friends. I do want to celebrate that, but it just seems as if there's a lot of discussion that needs to be had and things need to settle before we get to that point. By the time our listeners hear this, it will be at that point. I'm not publishing this until I'm like, okay, it's a good enough time to do that. So it might be later in this week. I don't know yet. Do you want to turn more positive? I think we've addressed the things that we're frustrated about. We do love this festival. There was a lot of great positivity that came out of it.
There's a lot of things that they still need to work on. This was the sixth one they've had.
I think that's right. Yeah,
they're still a baby, but I just forgive me for gatekeeping. I just kind of hope it stays small.
Well, there's a reason that we've discussed that. So I think Okeechobee is a medium-sized festival. There's small ones. The regional boutique festivals. Let's say like Moon River in Chattanooga, for example. That's a small festival. Bonnaroo is, the granddaddy of them all. If it's sold out, it's 80,000 people. A good Okeechobee is what, 40,000 people?
Yeah.
It's very manageable. People who go to their first Okeechobee think, oh, this is too hot, it's too crowded. Brooklyn and I were kind of joking. We were like, oh, you sweet summer child, come to Bonnaroo, then see what you think.
The only thing that makes it feel overcrowded is the main stage, which is the B stage. The stage is a perfect size itself, but the venue, like the viewing area, is kind of gets cramped super easily because it's not a lot of space from. You gotta hold like 40,000 people at once, especially if like if it's Grizz, everybody is going to be at Grizz. Like there's gonna be a few, like most of the people at this festival are here for like either Grizz or Odessa, our big headliners, the EDM heavy festival, and it was really chaotic trying to maneuver through everywhere, just the way it's set up. I feel like if they were able to push the stage
towards the backstage area,
maybe half a football field deeper in, like that would be the perfect amount of space for dancing and enjoying it and stuff.
That's one great thing that we're spoiled on with the What field at Bonnaroo is like there is enormous amounts of space, and if it's a crowded Bonnaroo, they can push the wall back and make even more.
There's pros and cons to both. Like the main stage at Okee, there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of shade, and it's so nice. At Bonnaroo, at the main stage in Bonnaroo, it's a giant field, so there's no shade. Literally no shade at all.
Yeah.
And it's hotter because it's like June in the middle of
Yeah.
Tennessee.
I think we've all been there at least once. A daytime set at the What Field can be brutal.
It is miserable.
But at night, man, that turns into another universe, and is it fun?
It's so good.
Yeah. But you're right. They need more floor space. What would you even call it? Like crowd space for the main stage at Okeechobee.
Yeah.
That would solve a big problem, and I don't feel like it would be that hard to do. All right.
Yeah.
What else is positive? We need to focus on positive. What else is positive about Okee?
Man, just how small it is. It's so easy to get to everything.
Yeah.
We were placed right next to Frick Fracks.
That was wonderful.
It was awesome. Mitchell lost his mustache. He gambled his mustache for some art and he lost. And they shaved it. It was hilarious.
Okay.
I lost everything that I had brought to gamble.
I cleaned up. I got a Boba Fett, a corn hat.
Oh man, that corn hat is great.
Yes.
We're gonna have to post a picture of me
Yeah,
in the corn
I
hat.
sent you a picture when I won it. I was like, I have become corn.
I have become corn.
Frick Frack is wonderful, and I have been trying to talk Bonnaroo into having them as Plaza Entertainment. I think they would be perfect there. It's so fun. If you haven't heard of it or haven't heard us talk about it, it's a casino, but you don't gamble money. You just bring in weird junk, and they will match your weird junk for their weird junk. You might lose your stuff. You might come away with more. And they're kind of like entertainers, so they'll joke around with you too.
they're assholes, but they're
In a lovable way.
Yeah, lovable assholes.
I think one of their main places is Burning Man, so they have a little bit of that attitude.
I was trying to get some art for this like vintage Kodiak cat puzzle,
Yeah.
and he said absolutely not, and he was like, "You're not gambling gold." And then threw a Mickey Mouse Pez down and said, "This is what you're gambling with." I was like, well, whatever you say, Daddy.
It depends. Sometimes you'll get a car dealer that will give you a better deal.
Yes.
It depends on who you're working with. And that's kind of the fun. You don't know what you're going to get. It's a surprise.
I will say, the first day, they are a little nicer. They're going easy on you. But by the last night, ooh, they're brutal.
Well, this is what I told you. There's a little bit of a different attitude at Burning Man, and that kind of reflected that.
It's so fun.
Yeah. Other things that I love about Okee is how a lot of different things are interwoven into the campgrounds. We do that with plazas at Bonnaroo, but they're kind of bigger in terms of what's in the campgrounds at Okee. So I love the Jungle 51 stage so much. I had the time of my life. I'm so grateful y'all agreed to stop by with me at one of my favorite places the other night. And I was a little in the moment, and I told Brooklyn, I am going to pull out the stops and I'm going to work my tail off to get Catlow to play the Jungle 51 stage next year. I don't want that project to be big. I just want it to be big enough to play that because I love that stage so much. I would have the time of my life playing that.
I'm just so happy Richard and Dave got to come with us. Dave from the Monkey Bar.
Yeah, shout out to the Monkey Bar boys.
That was their first camping festival outside of the state of Tennessee.
They had the time of their life.
They loved it. And that
Richard especially, well, both of them, but Richard, I spent a lot of time with him.
Man, Richard was just happy as hell the whole weekend.
Let me tell a quick story.
He broke his toe. And he
acted
was
like it
still
didn't
just
hurt.
smiling. He said it hurt, but...
Let me tell you a quick story. So, the other night, we had a great run of shows. There was Earth, Wind, and Fire, Big Boy, and Grizz. And I forget what show this happened at. Maybe it was between shows. Me and him were standing there vibing, cutting up. And this guy walks out of the crowd going towards the back and looks at some silly thing that was happening behind us. And he's just like, "Ladies and gentlemen, what is that?" And like, I'm telling this right now, and you're like, okay, that's kind of cute. But me and him laughed about that for like a half hour. Hell, we laughed about that the rest of the weekend.
Yes.
That was the last thing he said to us when we split this morning in Florida. Because it was so fun. I don't know why, but it was so funny. And like, I love that me and him shared that moment. Now that's like one of mine and his jokes, you know. Do you have any fun stories like that you want to share from Okee?
I can't really think of one right now. I'm still just like emotional high right now.
I know. I mean, okay, so we talked about the stuff that we're very frustrated with, but man, is it still a fun festival. It's got such a great vibe.
It's so wonderful. It's just, honestly, you know, like we say about Bonnaroo, Bonnaroo is not the corporate, Bonnaroo is the people. Bonnaroo is not the music, Bonnaroo is the people. Well, that just goes for any fucking festival. It's the crowd, it's the vibe, it's who you bring and who you're hanging out with, and like it.
See, I don't want to talk bad about anybody.
Brings the good out in yourself. Like,
yeah,
it's. I mean, yeah.
I don't want to talk ill, but I feel like the crowd at Okeechobee is different in a way that slightly doesn't work for me as well as Bonnaroo. Like, there is a Florida man vibe there sometimes.
Oh, yeah. There's a huge frat boy crowd this year.
There are certainly more that guy and that girls at Okeechobee than there are Bonnaroo. But there's still great people who are watching out for one another.
Right.
I was trying to prompt you to share a story from the LS Dream light coat set, because that was the best example of dealing with great people.
So wonderful. So, yeah, one of the main reasons why I wanted to go to the light coat set, which I love LS Dream, have been following him for so long. I've never seen him live. I watched some of his meditation streams on Twitch, and I've always wanted to participate in it. And I saw the video of him doing it, like actually performing it at Electric Forest, and I got so excited because Okeechobee released their lineup, and I saw LS Dream on there, and I was like, oh my god, I hope he does his light coat set, oh my god. And then they announced that he was going to do his light coat set, and I lost my mind. So one of the main reasons is, now it feels like there's two sides to the rave and EDM culture right now, and the music festival culture altogether, because as we know, music festivals are becoming more mainstream. A lot more people are coming in, like a lot of newbies, and let's just be honest, they have horrible fucking attitudes. And
sometimes, not always, but sometimes.
I mean, we're doing Bud Light culture. Bud Light. Some folks are like only there to do Bud Light and make their brain go burr burr. And then there's the original culture, the plur people, the people who care about you, the people who care about growth and like actually being a decent human being. I knew going to a meditation that LS Dream is hosting, I knew that's where that good side of the scene would be.
Boy, were they ever.
So we were laying down there, the wubs are vibrating our brains, and we're just overall just so happy, so feeling so good. He plays that really famous meditation song, and I sit up and I'll start looking around, and I realize that there's just people walking around through everybody that's laying down, meditating, having a good time. They're just walking through, fanning everybody, misting everybody, and it kind of gave me like a little bit of hope for the community, because seeing that, people just caring about others and strangers and making sure that everybody is having a good time, not just for themselves, that's so good. That was so wonderful to see and experience, especially like after being around a crowd of frat boys who were just like high on ketamine all weekend.
Well, it is on us, all of us that love this scene and this community and this giant interconnected friend circle, to continue to lead by example.
Exactly.
To do the things that you saw at that light code set, like caring for one another. I really feel strongly that if you do something kind for someone, that person is going to pass it on to the next person.
Yeah.
You just got to lead by example. If you've been doing this for a while like we have,
pay it forward.
Be that example. People always come to me saying like, oh, thank you for doing this party at the Rubus or whatever. I'm like, I honestly feel kind of awkward when people tell me that. And I just say like, no, I don't want anything. Don't give me gifts. Like, don't blow smoke up me. Go do something for somebody else. If you appreciated something that me or Brooklyn or Charlotte or any of our friends ever did for Brew, or you in particular, don't worry about us. We're cool. I'm great. I'm blessed. Go do something for somebody else.
Please.
Like, I'm usually talking to Charlotte. Like Brooklyn said, that's what this community is about. It's not like turning off your brain and getting messed up. That's silly. Right. I mean, it's about caring for one another and making this community. I mentioned to our friend Liz when we were leaving the front row of Odessa the other night that this whole community and stuff like this always makes me think of one of my favorite movies, Almost Famous. In that movie, there's like a whole community of friends and family that are following a number of bands around, and they care for one another and everything. And man, that movie just hits the nail on the head. She had never seen it. I told her that's her homework to go watch that. I just love the space so much. And me and Charlotte got a little worked up at the beginning of this particular... Me and Brooklyn, sorry. I'll edit that. Me and Brooklyn got a little worked up at the beginning of this particular section about what we were frustrated about. And it is frustrating, but we're talking about it in that way because we see where there's room for improvement. We see how things can be done better. We love this stuff so much, and we don't want it to turn bad. We want to help cultivate this community. So, anyway, that's just a long way of saying, please care for one another. Take care of one another.
Please be respectful.
Yeah, be the change that you want to see. Lead by example for everyone.
And stop fucking complaining.
That too. There's so much to be grateful for. I mean,
yes.
Okee was a bit of a mess in some respects, but man, did I still have the time of my life.
So wonderful.
And the big reason for that is many of our friends that were in this giant camp with us. I mean, I hate to start naming names because I'll leave somebody out, but just for example, Julio from Chicago
Julio
is the kookiest, craziest, most lovable Yahoo that I've ever met.
Yahoo!
Yeah, that was one of his things. He would spill something and he's like, look at me, I'm a Yahoo. He is like...
It was perfect timing.
Anything
too.
you do with that guy is an absolute adventure. He is just like...
It's so wonderful.
I don't want to say ray of sunshine because he's so unique. We have sunshine all over in this particular sunshine state. He's just like he's the vibes, man. Also, shout out to the Calliope gang, who were a couple of tents down from us.
Those are our girls. We love them.
Loved them to death. Had an amazing time with them. Oh gosh,
I just want to.
Zach and Sage.
I just want to say, Calliope girls, y'all are listening. Y'all are amazing, and I'm so sorry you guys had to experience something extremely traumatic. But props to you guys because y'all got through it and you didn't let it stop you from having a good time. So proud and happy of y'all, and I cannot wait to party with you at Bonnaroo.
Talk about somebody that leads by example. That is that crew.
Delaney, you are a queen. Andrea,
Shonk Mom,
Alex, y'all are amazing. Amazing. We love them.
You want to see a great representation of a Bonnaroovian and a festival person in general, hang out with the Calliope gang.
Yes.
Sometimes I can't say that right.
Calliope. If you ever see a blow-up cow that has a flower-laced crown, those are... The vibes will be immaculate if you go up and talk to them.
Tell them we sent you. Anything else about Okee for this year, Brooke? We'll probably have some more.
I have so many more, but right now I kind of want to take a nap.
You were taking it? Yeah, we just crossed the Georgia state line about 10 minutes ago while we were talking. I think the next stop for us is the Buc-ee's, about halfway up I-75.
Yeah.
All hell to Buc-ee's. I saw y'all talking about Buc-ee on the Bonnaroo Reddit this past week. That was funny.
It's the bussies.
The bussies. I had joked that hundreds of generations from now, when the researchers find all of those beaver logos, they will assume he was our god. It's kind of creepy how many giant beavers there are.
Oh wait, he's not? I thought he was.
No, he's like, hey buddy, you want some barbecue? I got clean bathrooms. You want my face on a hat?
Oh my god.
Oh, did you see Carrie? She had a whole Buc-ee's onesie that she was wearing. All right, we will probably have more thoughts on, almost said Buc-ee's, more thoughts on Okeechobee on future episodes. There's still a lot that we gotta let shake out.
Yeah,
and
we gotta talk about our favorite sets and everything.
Actually, can we talk about that for a moment, real quick? Just like 5 minutes.
Okay, pick your favorite set of the whole time.
Lil Yachty.
I knew it.
Blew me away.
I knew
Blew me the hell away.
It was incredible.
Oh
and
my
to be
gosh.
on the rail for that, and the first time he has performed this album ever, like, that was a huge deal for him.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, it was just he killed it.
You may have heard there were some audio issues. I was on the rail. I saw everything that happened. It was not his fault. Okee was messing up the vocal audio all day. They had issues with Hippocampus right before him.
The way he yeeted that microphone, he was like, man.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for him, man, because this, like we said, this was a huge deal for him. He's debuting this album, and
I was so heartbroken for him when he had to step off stage and restart. You could tell when he slammed the microphone down, he wasn't angry. He was frustrated because you could tell he was so emotionally invested in the first performance of this new material. And there was a lot that went into this whole production. There was a full, amazing band. There was like really cool like LED visuals. There was like really great video. It was on par with what Tame Impala is doing with their production in the past couple of years. In fact, I know it's some of the same crew and some of the same people. Shout out to Andrew who told me a little bit about that. It is amazing. He destroyed it. I cannot tell you how much I loved it.
I was really happy that he decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just start the whole show over.
Yeah, I'm so glad they did that. Everybody hyped him up and just acted as if that hadn't happened, you know.
Yeah,
and
he was like halfway through like the second song, and then like he's like, shit.
Yeah,
we're restarting.
I'm so happy he did. Y'all, if you get a chance to go see this Lil Yachty show, he has done something genuinely groundbreaking with this. Nothing else sounds like this. I looked on Metacritic and saw that the album had like around 80% or something like that. But
oh yeah, I'm
biased because the psychedelic stuff is my jams. But oh my god, I was already in love from the album. The live performance is it's on par with the quality of the album that I personally love. To me, this may be the set of the summer that you have to see. These other sets, like Foo Fighters, is going to be great because, of course, they've had some changes. Odessa, if you've seen them before, you know what you're going to get. This Yachty show is something fresh. It's something new. You're going to see something amazing if you get the chance to see it. If you have a festival that has him on the lineup, if you see him on the tour dates that I think are going to be announced, go see it. It's something special. Okay, I ranted about that. What was your favorite set?
Honestly, Hippocampus.
That was great. Yes.
I would say Local Natives, but I was extremely low energy. I did cry when they sang Who Knows Who Cares, because I've waited 12 years to hear that live, and the whole crowd, I mean, I wish, and I feel like, everybody's there to see EDM acts, and a lot of people did not know who Local Natives were.
That was weird.
So the crowd, a lot of people were doing the oh-oh-ohs at the end of the song, but I feel like if it was like in Nashville and like people like who are diehard Local Natives fans, that part would have been more amazing. But it was still amazing for me, and I wouldn't change it. But anyways, yes, Hippocampus. It was so high energy.
They had taken it up another level.
I was there for their set at Bonnaroo a couple years ago. But like this set, like this show, being up on the front row to see them and like having eye contact with everyone in the band and just the energy like gave me life. It was so good. And like, when you see one of your favorite bands and you listen to them all the time, like for me and Hippocampus and Local Natives, those kinds of indie rock bands, love them. When you're up there and you're singing all the words and they see that you're singing all the words and you're jamming, they appreciate that. You can see that they appreciate that. It's like,
I love that.
I'm giving them energy and they're giving me energy, and we're just like vibing so fucking hard together with your favorite band. And it's just such a great experience. I had such a good time doing that.
I love that. I had that experience a little this year, and especially last year, when you're on the rail and it's kind of like you're having a different kind of conversation with the acts, through like hand gestures and your expression and everything.
It's like you have an emotional connection to this one song, and you're literally singing it with the person who wrote that song, so you feel what they feel, and they know that you feel that, and that song touched them and touched you, and blah blah blah. It's just sorry, I could rant about it all day.
No, I understand.
Good. So good.
I had a short little moment with Yachty like that at that show. It was a quiet moment in between songs, and he's kind of looking at the crowd. I'm right there on the rail, basically in the middle, and I was kind of delirious. I was like, Yachty, look, man, I hang with Tame. This is mind blowing. And he looks over at me, and he kind of breaks character a little bit and cracks a smile. I was like, oh man, I just wanted him to know that like. The psych rock community appreciates this so much. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, so good.
We got to give a shout out to another indie band that really got the crowd going.
Flipturn. I had to duck out. I was getting there. A lot of people were smoking Bud Light in the crowd, and I had to yeet the fuck out of there.
Oh man,
sent me through a spiral. But God, they were killing it. I love them so much.
it's a bit of a hometown crowd for them because they're just up the road. But man, like that was such an incredible feeling to have everybody singing along with him and so much energy for a Sunday set in the afternoon, just like they had at their other set at Root last year.
An indie band on Sunday afternoon
At an
EDM festival. They got an encore.
They destroyed. It was amazing. Yeah, I've never seen that. I have never seen an encore for a non-headlining act at a festival like that. And they got one. That was so cool. Flipturn is on to big things. I mean, obviously we're a bit biased because they've become friends, but oh my gosh, they're playing so many festivals.
We ran into him at
right after the
King
set.
of Pops.
Oh yeah.
Before the set, the day before the set.
We went to go see Mitchel, and all of a sudden it was like, oh hey guys, I'm with Flipturn. Y'all remember me, right? I'm like, yeah, of course I do, man. What you been up to?
No, he didn't recognize us, Daniel. I recognized him.
Well,
I was like, damn.
I was horsing around with Mitchel. I can't remember exactly what happened, but you know what I'm talking about. That was so fun.
I was like, you look familiar. And I was like, oh wait, you're Flipturn. And then he was like, yeah, you like the band? I was like, yeah, you played our show at Bonnaroo. He was like, oh wait, you're Rubus, what's up?
Yeah. Such a good time with them. Man, they've got a lot of big shows. They got Moon River coming up at the end of the summer. I saw they're playing a couple other nearby venues.
Red Rocks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was announced while we were at Okee. They're going to be opening for Mount Joy at Red Rocks. You have no idea how overbeaming I am with pride for them that they are blowing up the way that they are. Hey, we're passing the Tampa Bay Bolts. Like, there's a bus full of the hockey players over here next to us. That's kind of weird. Anyways, Brooklyn, anything else on Okee?
I'm good. I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, all right. Brooklyn's taking a nap before we get to Buc-ee's. I had an amazing time with you.
I had an amazing time with you.
Bro and sis trip. This was so much fun. I think everybody involved needed this. Oh gosh, these Okee trips are so fun, man. We're spoiled having Bonnaroo just an hour and a half from our house, but having this big of a trek to go to Okee and do a few Florida things is so much fun. And I'm glad we did this with all of our friends.
Yes.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. I think me and Charlotte would have already thanked our Patreons in a bit that we have edited. There's going to be a lot of more fun stuff coming up on the podcast here in the next couple months. Did you know, as of today, that we are recording this? It is 100 days until Bonnaroo. We're starting to be in the 3-month home stretch, so it's time to get to planning. It's time to get to doing a lot of things. This is going to be a big and fun one. Ooh,
I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, we got a lot to do. So we'll get in on that next week. We're going to start having some fun guests and really get into the, the meat and potatoes of things.
Meat and potatoes.
Yeah, I just made that saying up. You like that one?
Yes.
All right.
Anyway.
Y'all, we love you to death. We had some deep discussions on this episode this week. Thank you for bearing with us. We talk about that stuff because we care. Please, like we said, get out there, lead by example. Get out there and be the person that you want to see in others. You know what that means? It means get out there and radiate positivity.
Let's go!
See you next week. Are you okay?
Yeah. Every time.
Every time.
We're like, I don't have...